Huzzah, my dude. Huzzah.
Yes. You know, I feel underprepared for the party. You know, I
my God.
feel like I should have glasses. You know, my hat, the Russian hat, as you like to call it.
Oh God, not that. Why would you party with that hat?
I mean, you have to be there. You know, you'll understand if you.
I guess that's a misfire on that one. I don't know. You party with that hat. I'm like, are we freezing to death where we're partnering, or what are you doing?
Where are we partying? The Alps?
Anyways, welcome everybody to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with the ever so humble and handsome Burn and Rye. How is everybody doing? Again, we're back at you with another What If episode. This is the 7th one of the season. We're kind of getting close to the end a little bit.
Yeah, 2 more, I think, right?
I think it's supposed to be 9 episodes, yeah. 9 or 10? No, I think it's 9. 9 sounds about right. Why not 10? Why not 8? I don't know. That's how they set it up. So, this one was essentially, what if Thor grew up as a single child? What if Loki never became Asgardian, essentially? It's more about Thor, though, but I'm just saying this is essentially the premise of that.
Yeah.
And we got to see a very different Thor, voiced by Chris Hemsworth again, which I think that was a great decision. And we also saw the return of Natalie Portman's Jane Foster, Kat Dennings, Darcy. I forgot her last name, to be honest, but...
Yeah, the first time Natalie Portman's been back since Dark World. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I was going to say technically Endgame, but that was all, like, older footage.
That was reused footage, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily count. I will always love the scene in Endgame where she wakes up and Rocket's about to just stabbing position, like, all right, let's get this bitch. gonna take the stone out of her because the ether put himself inside her.
She stuck her hand inside the ether, and then the ether stuck himself inside her.
Oh, that sounds so dirty, but he's drunk at that point. And not much has changed in this episode, but, he just stayed young. So this episode really was kind of pointless. It didn't necessarily need to happen until the very end, which is like, okay, this kind of connects to the larger things. It's kind of like I want to say there was a movie or there's an episode. There's always something like that, a movie in a series or an episode in a series where it's like, what does this have to do with anything? And then the very end's like, oh, that's why this happened. Like, this is how it's connected to everything.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a good call because it seems that a lot of shows have been doing that lately where, like, in the latter half of the season, usually around this time, around, like, the 6th, 7th episode, right before the end, they kind of, like, veer off and do something interesting. I know, like, Mythic Quest has done it. Stranger Things did it. So I guess this is What If's version of that. Like you said, for the most part, it's very... I guess like a lot of these being an anthology, they're pretty self-contained, but this one, yeah, for the most part, didn't really do anything to expand on the larger universe. Like you said, up until the very end, at least.
No, and I think, honestly, because there's been a lot of serious, dramatic... borderline horrifying episodes this season. There had to be one that's like, let's uplift everything with some humor and brevity. And this was a good episode. It's still not perfect, and I know I sound like a broken record saying this, but I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 rantings just because, lack of actual plot or connection to the rest of the series. But overall, still a fun episode to watch. I think the best voice acting we've seen this whole season, and and again, the visuals are pretty solid. I think the animations definitely served its purpose very well in this episode.
Yeah, whereas we had issues with the animation styling and the murder mystery.
Several of them.
Yeah. But in particular, the murder mystery episode where it felt like the tone and the animation really conflicted. It feels like it worked all in pretty in sync with this one, and as you said, the voice acting across the board in this episode was probably the most consistent, where there wasn't anything that I could pick out, at least, where a lot of things easily stuck out to me upon first watch of the other episodes. And I think this one, for the most part, I think it was pretty well done, and like you said, Chris Hemsworth, the dude's got charisma even in just his voice, so. I mean, that's just a win for that guy, as if he needs any more.
It just kind of makes me ask, where's the rest of the energy and the delivery with the rest of the MCU cast that's been brought back for this? Come on, guys.
Take note, Mark Ruffalo. You can do better. I know you have it in you.
Take note, everybody. Come on. if they can do it, you guys can do it. But
yeah, 3 out of 5 for me. Also, like you said, the story isn't anything to write home about. There wasn't anything done here that I think was just like, oh, mind blowing, like revolutionary or anything. But it was a lighthearted, really fun episode, and like you said, the ending kind of really like hinted at something a lot more interesting. So yeah.
All right, well, let's do a little bit of spoilers before we finish off, as always, with our review. So, and always, everybody, if you haven't seen it, come on back, check out our spoiler review. Like, subscribe, share right now. Just say, hey, these guys talked about it. Let's talk about it ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyways,
if you don't do all those things, your mom's gonna come and embarrass you in front of all your friends.
Oh my God. As a young child, that's definitely a fear. Now I'm just like, oh, great.
The baby photos will come out. That is all we're saying.
Or if you're a man named Greg Fokker, the baby photos and the foreskin will be out on display. All right, man. Let's do the spoilers. What do you say?
Let's get it.
Overall, this was an interesting concept for Thor, that he just Loki never being adopted. He never had that dichotomy or that necessarily that competitive nature to want to be a warrior, I guess, because it was almost like Odin squashed everything. There's no wartime, nothing with Laufey or Jotunheim, anything like that. So he just is like, I don't give a shit. I party like nothing. He's essentially like he's so immature he never grew up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a really interesting thing, and that's what led him to here with instead of a silver, like a glorious like his warrior suit that he's had for years, it's just gold because he doesn't give a shit. He's fancy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I thought it was really funny, the beginning. The whole episode was pretty, like, comedic throughout. I was, like, chuckling throughout the whole time. But it was funny how, like, now that in this version where Odin is going into his deep Odin sleep, I like how, like, Frigga is just like, all right, I'm gonna go bounce and hang out with the girls. It's like,
yeah, it's like Frigga and Thor just going off to party. Like, what the hell? What the hell's the matter? What kind of family is this right now? But
it's like, Dad's asleep. All right, party on.
I guess he was the party pooper of the family because they didn't give a shit. But I really liked, why I loved this episode was just when they go down and they started in Vegas, which I was last weekend for a bachelor party.
Nice.
So it kind of brought back memories a little bit, whatever memories I do have. and I just kind of like seeing basically the whole MCU party. Well, at least more of the galactic side of the MCU, because we saw oh my God, Meek and Korg, Yondu, Drax, Nebula. Basically, anyone we've seen from the Thor movies or Guardians of the Galaxy, they all came down to party with Thor.
Notably, no Peter Quill or Gamora. I didn't see those two. Like, those are the ones that in particular stuck out to me as not being around. Which is I'm
excited for the Gamora episode coming out soon, just because she's supposed to have like Thanos' armor. So I want to see that look. But anyways, that's an interesting point. I didn't think about that, but I guess again, like it's that butterfly effect where you don't see like Peter never got taken. Gamora maybe is still with her dad, because like Nebula is the one who broke out, and Gamora is the good, because they've always had that thing like Gamora was the one who wanted to serve Thanos and please Thanos, and Nebula was the one who, she tried, but she was like, fuck it, I don't care. So there's that. And I really liked seeing Loki come as an actual frost giant.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, we kind of saw in the first movie where the ice thing, not the Bifrost, but the ice thing that turned things into ice from Jotunheim, turned him into his frost giant self, but he's still tiny. So this one, it was kind of cool seeing that he actually grew up to be a giant. Yeah, and they were still, but they were best friends though. They're like, "Oh, buddy, come on, like, good to see you, my brother from another mother."
Yeah, like literally, brother from another. Yeah, like you said, it was pretty interesting. Like, kind of going back to that, where it hasn't been really brought up, a lot. Like, probably not even in the Loki show, if I remember correctly. Like that whole side of him, where when he touches the thing in the first Thor movie, we do see his like skin turn blue, and it's like eyes turn red. So it was nice to get a little bit of a callback to that. Yeah, and again, just seeing Thor, like, I guess the only dire thing that you could make an argument for was that Thor parties so hard with his friends and other alien stuff that the planet just gets destroyed. Like, I guess that's a thing, but you didn't get that at all from this episode. So if they were trying to portray that Thor was like an actual danger, it didn't
it didn't play off well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was too lighthearted to see it that way.
I did feel that part was a little bit unclear because I remember he does mention that there wasn't really a planet that was destroyed. It was more of like an asteroid or something, and all they did was like speed up the process or something like that. So it was like, did you party so hard that the planet did get destroyed, or was it already like in the process of getting destroyed, kind of like that planet in Loki where it was just like already on the verge of collision? So it's like there's no point in prolonging the thing, you know.
Exactly. So that's why I also gave it a 3 out of 5, because again, this is kind of pointless, and the writing was just not good to justify half the stuff that happened. But the Captain Marvel Thor fight was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
I kind of wish we saw that in the original movies and stuff, but again, she came in at such a late point. They kind of had to shoot her. From what I remember, because she was such a last-minute addition, and supposedly she didn't get along with the cast. I don't know what's true anymore. She was kind of shoehorned into Endgame and stuff like that. But I hope to see a Civil War 2 where she leads one side of the argument, and maybe Ironheart or Captain Anthony Mackie's Captain America fights her. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with that. But I really like their fight scenes. My brother. Oh God. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was fuzzy. Stupid camera just to lose the feed.
It seems like the camera was parting a little too hard.
But let me see. No, their fight was pretty cool. My brother and I were watching. He's like, "Oh, it's very Dragon Ball Z-esque," and I was like, "Oh my God, I see that." Just because they're fighting on the middle of the desert and stuff. They're really going at it. It was very much like, you know, Goku and Frieza or Vegeta just going at it somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the fight choreography here was probably the best we've seen since the first episode with Agent Carter, or Captain Carter, as I should say. Where in this one, like, they really got to showcase a lot of like the strengths of these two characters and how they fight. Like, it shows like they have very different fight styles, where Thor very much relies on, you know, his weapon, and you know, Captain Marvel being like the force of nature that she is, just, you know, it's like she's, like you said, almost like a Super Saiyan, you know, where she has like her power up, and then they're just like duking it out and leading all the way to Stonehenge where Thor's just like, boop, like, I just want to boop it.
No. But I think the best part of this was just at the end where Jane and Darcy are thinking like, okay, what's the worst thing? Like, a guy's partying, we got to call his mom, right? Like, think about it. Like, what, a kid finds out his mom's coming home, he's got to stop. And she's like, oh my God, that's brilliant. If there's a Thor, Loki, there's a Frigga, and an Odin. We got to wake up one of them. We get one of them. And she just calls Heimdall, and Heimdall's kind of like I guess if Frigga's the mom, Heimdall, I guess, would be a babysitter, I suppose. Like, just letting the parents know, hey, like, hey, your son's out of line. You need to come get him. Which she does beautifully. Just like, okay, well, if you're studying on Earth, I'm going to come get you. It's like, wait, what? No, you don't have to go, Mom. Shit. He got everybody to help him clean up, which was great. Like, Frost Giants put back that Ferris wheel in London. He put back Stonehenge
from St. Louis that they were gonna turn into the world's biggest slingshot.
Oh my God, it was so dumb. And then when you see his hammer, it's all covered in like paper, like ink, and like, it was just like it's been through a party itself. It's like, Mom, I can explain. She's just like, oh my God, she's basically like, my son's an idiot. Like,
yeah, that whole scenario was hilarious. Like in our conversation before this, it was very much like, you know, like Ferris Bueller, or, you know, like Cat in the Hat, or like, what was that other movie that you mentioned where they have to like clean up before the parents get home?
It was Smart House, the old Katie Seagal Disney movie, which was easily one of my favorite ones growing up as a kid.
So all that comedy bit was hilarious. I especially like got a really good laugh when he's like trying to erase the graffiti, and as like it's intercutting between her being beaten down, just
he's just like, like, I gotta hurry up, this is not going away.
Yeah, and then him fixing the leaning tower
pizza. Yeah, just
I was like,
from lean a little farther, just beep right back, just like, all right, you stay there.
So yeah, that was all great. I loved all that.
That was great. And then in the very end, like we said, I thought was really cool of that reveal where a portal opens up in the middle of this reality, and it's Ultron bots, which you think is Ultron with the Infinity Stones, and it isn't, because his face opens up and it's Vision just looking menacing as hell. I thought that's easily one of the coolest villain looks in all of Marvel so far.
Yeah,
I just thought that was cool that it's almost like Ultron's like a gladiator suit, and Vision just opens up his helmet what's up? I'm here to conquer.
Yeah, this is battle armor or something. I'm very interested to see if they... I'm sure they will. I mean, they have to explain it, right? That's one of those things where a lot of these episodes end on a certain note where you're like, I need to know what happens next, and it being an anthology, they never tie it up, but hopefully at some point, maybe this season or next season, they kind of wrap around to getting to that, because I really want to know how the events led to, I guess, Ultron succeeding, in creating this Vision body for himself. What? Tell me.
Tell me.
Yes, man.
Just right back to Loki, but besides that, overall this was just a whatever episode, just a fun one to have, to postpone it until the last 2 epic seasons. That's all the Marvel shows have really done. There's always been a kind of episode to take us aside from all the action or the drama, and even though it may be dramatic or it may still have some action to it, it's just a step back from everything, slow it down until we really come into the final lap.
Yeah, the ones that come to mind were I shouldn't say it because I don't want to spoil anything of her shows that we're not talking about. But yeah, like you said, they at least have one episode where, as you said, they kind of pull things back a little bit. So hopefully that's what this one is for the next 2 episodes, because I really do hope the next 2 episodes kind of do a little bit more legwork in wrapping this all up and to hopefully one cohesive thing, or just, I don't know, giving us payoff to a lot of these setups they've been doing.
Absolutely. Before the powers that be close up the annals of history, let's get this done. It's cohesive. You know what I mean? It's got to be there. But until next time, everybody, like I said, subscribe, comment on what you liked about this episode. What do you think of the season overall? Because we are getting to that point.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to start voicing your opinions on what you think of the episodes and the season as a whole. Because who knows? Overall, this season's pretty generic, pretty general, pretty average. Nothing spectacular, nothing horrible. But we'll have to wait till we'll give our final review at the end of the season. But yeah, like I said, stay bodacious, keep on renting, and above all, stay safe.
Absolutely, everybody. We all keep being good, be safe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later, my dude.
Alrighty, man. I'll see you.
Peace out. Huzzah!